Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be diving into the new Zack and Tifa featured draw, and I will be giving this a thorough banner review. I'm going to let you guys know my overall thoughts and how I honestly think you should approach this, whether or not you should be pulling, and I'm going to give suggestions based on free-to-play players, minnows and dolphins, and then I guess whales don't really need it at all, right? So just for those first couple groups right there. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the new animations. I feel like that's important. I like when the summon animations look really cool. So let's take a look. It should be this next one right here. All right, so here's Tifa's. Oh, like a full-on Hadouken, right? That's pretty sick. And here's Zack's. His weapon's called Pressure Ridge. Also, both of them look pretty good. Let's jump into the costumes and check them out. For those of you guys that saw my news video, I did jump into this a little bit, but wow, she does look really good. This costume was shown in the original Ever Crisis trailer, so they've had it backlogged for a while, guys. And I gotta say, it does look pretty freaking awesome. It just looks kind of, I don't know, Renaissance vibes, like Victorian almost, but at the same time, it's got that like fantasy touch to it. It just looks really cool. It looks like something that like a kind of like a lead female heroine would be wearing in any kind of like book or film or even game. It just looks pretty rad. I like all the feathers on it. The gloves right here look really cool. Although I wonder where the materia slots are. Oh, there they are. They're right there on that glove. All right, so they are there. They do look really good. Yeah, I like this costume. I like the white feather in her ear right here. Yeah, it looks rad, guys. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's jump over. Let's look at Zack's. Zack I like, but I'm not as fond of this one. I feel like it's too similar looking to his Limit Break Arcanum costume. And kind of at the same time, it doesn't quite look as good. Like his I don't know, his posture here or something about it looks a bit strange to me. But other than that, I like the half cloak going on. I like the colors. Black, white, and gold are always good to me, or always look good to me. His back plate right here looks awesome. And honestly, guys, the sword looks really cool. I like this kind of darker bronze color that it's got going on with it. It's really interesting. So all in all, both of them have some solid upgrades. Maybe not my favorite Zack costume, but it still looks cool. All right, guys, so let's take a look at what you guys are here for. Let's take a look at the weapons and the costumes. So first, I am going to review Tifa, and then I'm going to review Zack. All right, so Feather Style is Tifa's new costume, and at first glance, you think it's just a regular buff debuff extension costume, but actually the key is in the plus right here, buff debuff extension plus, and if you go ahead and click it, it gives you a flat 60% buff debuff extension just for wearing this. So guys, this is a full-blown and the first of its kind buff debuff Arcanum costume, and I can show that to you guys or highlight that by going over to Zack's. Zack's does not have the plus. If you click this, it just brings you into the series of bonuses that he gets. So his is going to give 10 points, which is going to get you 40% original duration right here. However, if we look at Tifa's right here and we click it, hers is going to give that 10 points plus the original 60%. So this costume, just by itself, having it equipped, is giving you 100% buff debuff extension duration, which is pretty damn phenomenal, not going to lie. I wasn't expecting something like this to come out, and the fact that it's paired with HP means that it's really viable in a lot of team compositions. However, I think that my original thoughts, my thoughts on this are, I like how Applebot tends to give every banner item, every costume, their time in the spotlight. So, whether you skip things or you stay and you spend the crystals and go for something, either way, you're going to be at a loss of for something where you come across a boss where it's easier if you have it, or you're going to have pulled for it and you're going to have an easier time with that boss. The question is it going to be absolutely necessary to clear content more than the one boss or event where it's highlighted, right? So I will say that at first glance, this banner is not a must pull banner. By any means, this is not a must pull banner. You're getting 60% extra buff debuff extension duration with Tifa's costume. However, there's multiple other buff debuff extension costumes in the game. Yuffie has one, Aerith has one, Zack has one, and I'm hard pressed to believe that this extra 60% is going to be the make it or break it moment in hard boss fights, especially knowing that there are free-to-play players out there that are wiping the floor with some of the hardest fights in the game, right? So I do think that this is going to have its moment to shine, and trust me when I say that when it does, it's going to be fantastic. Also, and I'm not sure here, guys, but correct me if I'm wrong, is haste affected by this? Because from what I've heard, haste is not affected by buff debuff extension duration. Now, if haste is affected by it, now that could be a game changer, right? Because if haste comes out, if Tifa gets a haste weapon in the future, like maybe her summer costume, and they make it the rebirth summer costume, and then every player in the game drops all their crystals for Tifa's new costume, you know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Like, if this does affect haste, it's going to be real powerful. However, that's something I think that needs to be tested, and from what I understand and I've heard, it does not. However, please correct me if I'm wrong, and let me know in the comments so that other players and myself can get up to date with what's going on with that. But as of right now, from what I've heard, this does not affect haste. All right, other than that, it is going to give HP. It is a really solid costume, guys, and it does really, really look cool. Now let's jump over to Tifa's weapon and let's check it out. All right, so her weapon are the feathered gloves. Let's look at it base 5-star, then we'll check it out at OB6 and then at OB10. The command ability is Feather Strike. It has no sigil on it. It's non-elemental physical damage. It does have a 3 ATB cost, which is becoming more popular these days, and it has a magic defense break along with a self water potency buff. So that's pretty awesome because this is actually the first elemental potency buff that we're getting on a weapon, I believe, in the entire game. I think the only thing that had done that before was Ifrit and Bahamut's Crimson Flare. So these gloves paired with Tifa's bunny gloves for the Water Arcanum are going to absolutely decimate, guys. It's going to be crazy because the gloves give magic attack up, this gives magic defense down, and gives water potency up. Like, she's going to be just dominating. And I'm guessing the next, from what I understand, the next double summon to come out is going to be Shiva and Ramuh. And I'm guessing that the next EX summon that they drop is probably also going to be either Ramuh or Ifrit. It could be either or because we've had a pretty strong surge of water weapons, or at least this one right here. However, now I'm starting to lean into the fact that it might be Ifrit coming next. Because of Zack's weapon right here, which I'll get to in a second. All right, so let's go back here and let's look at the R abilities. So at base 5-star, the magic defense is going to have a first potency of mid and a max potency of mid. Okay, so at least it's not low. The water potency buff right here is going to be mid to mid as well at base 5-star. So pretty solid, and it's 3 ATB cost. The R abilities at level 120 base 5-star are 40 attack, which is pretty damn good, and 12 water potency. So even better now to pair with those bunny gloves, guys, not gonna lie. Let's look at the support materia. We have attack boost 1, ability damage 10%. Not bad, could be better. We have water ability damage plus 30% here. So for pairing it with a water materia, interesting choice because most people would probably pair this with the bunny gloves. However, if you don't have the bunny gloves, this is going to definitely increase your water damage. So this could be something to get even if you didn't get the bunny gloves, and it's still going to give her decent damage doing water. All right, and then it's also going to have an X sigil boost right here. I always like the X sigil breakers, guys. I think that they're fantastic. They really make fights easier. So all in all, pretty solid on the back end here, our abilities. Now let's go ahead and let's look at this at OB6, all right? The damage is going to go from 260% to 360%. The magic defense potency is going to stay at mid. Max is going to stay at mid. And the water potency buff is going to go from mid to high first cast at OB6. Pretty damn phenomenal, honestly. So the R abilities are going to jump from 40 attack to 54, and the water potency is going to jump from 12 to 27. So pretty solid right there on the increase. Now if we jump over to OB10, the damage will go from 360% to 420%. The magic defense sadly does not move up away from mid. I guess it is a 3 ATB cost weapon, and that's how they're kind of drawing it back. So it is going to have a max potency break of mid on the magic defense. However, you are going to get the high buff water potency on the first cast. However, this is one of those weapons that for me, I wishlist till OB6, and then I pull it off the wish list and let the game naturally give me the other 4 copies right there. So other than that, the weapon is looking really, really good, guys. I like the weapon a lot. All right, so now let's go over and let's look at Zack, okay? All right, so Zack's costume right here is the Glacier Armor. It is a regular buff debuff extension costume. However, he already has one, and this is the one that came with the Ceremonial Sword Z. However, that one does not have a Frostblade Arcanum attached to it. So Zack is now officially an Ice Ability Arcanum character. It is going to be a physical weapon, which is pretty cool. However, this is Ice Ability damage. It would work with a ice or magic weapon, just to keep, just so that you guys can keep that in mind. Now let's take a look and go back to the weapon right here. It is going to be the Pressure Ridge, and let's look at the stats at level 120. Physical attack is going to be 275, magic attack 205, and the healing 174. It is going to do 390% physical ice damage with a 4 ATB cost. Also, when Zack's HP is 50% or more, it does an Ice Imperil that goes from mid to high at base 5-star. So really, really good usability in this weapon, guys. It's going to be a fantastic weapon for pairing with Cloud's new Limit Break draw, banner stuff if you guys pulled for that. The R abilities are physical attack 40, ice potency 12. I'm going to skip to 120 or OB10 really quick. These are the same R abilities as the Bald Eagle at max level, which officially ties it with being the best physical ice potency like sub weapon you could equip in the game. So it's going to be really, really, really freaking solid, guys. However, I don't think you need more than one of these because the Bald Eagle or this is going to basically max your physical attack in the back end of the character. All right, so going back down here, let's take a look at the support materia. It's going to be physical ability damage plus 20%, physical ability damage plus 20%, and another X sigil breaker right here, which is also pretty awesome. I think that these are a tad better than Tifa's just because hers has an ability damage plus 10% right here. Although I do like the water capacity right there, especially for players that don't have the bunny gloves. If you do have the bunny gloves, it's not as valuable. If you don't have it, it's extraordinarily valuable. So I'll say that it is pretty damn good on Tifa. All right, so now let's jump back over here. We'll take a look at this weapon at OB6. It is going to deal 550% physical ice damage with a 4 ATB cost, and the Imperil is going to go high on the first cast. All right, so this is another one of those weapons that You only need a wish list to OB6, and the moment you do, you can let the game fill in the rest of the copies for you. The R abilities are fantastic. Honestly, it's a great weapon, guys. Both of these weapons are very, very, very good. Let's take a look and go back to Tifa's and just check her R abilities right there. We didn't check those out at OB10. So the R abilities are going to be Attack 62 and Water Potency 39. Fantastic R abilities over there for Tifa. Attack works for both physical and magic. 62. This is never going to be in the main hand, so 62 and half is going to be 31. So you are going to be getting physical and magic attack plus 50% and plus 10% to each one. So pretty damn solid overall. All right, guys, so we've taken a look at the weapons. We've taken a look at the costumes. Now let's talk about whether or not this banner is worth pulling on. So before I get into that, we've had 2 Tifa banners basically in a row, right? The bunny gloves, and they know, Applebot knows that everyone loves Tifa. She's very hard to resist to pull for, and it's just, I get the feeling that something really good is around the corner. We got a special pick draw. We got Tifa's Easter costume. Now we have Tifa and Zack paired on a banner. And I will say that in my experience, and I've been doing videos for Ever Crisis and been a day one player, Zack is a really popular character, I think. And I think he's more popular than people think. So I think that Zack and Tifa being on their banner are maybe not, well, Tifa is definitely one of the most popular characters in the game, but Zack is way up there, guys. So these are 2 very popular characters, which is going to be hard for people to resist going in on this banner for, which leads me to believe that when they're putting stuff like this out, they're trying to bait people in, right? Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, normally I say that for myself, I will wait until the banner ends to see what's going to happen. So this banner is going to end at May 12th. However, today I'm just going to tell you guys that for me, this banner is an easy skip. I'm going to be completely skipping this banner, even if it's May 11th and there's nothing on the horizon. I think that the buff debuff extension Arcanum is going to be really nice for the people that pick it up, but in no way, shape, or form do I think that this is necessary to clear content. I could be wrong in the future. They normally will add something to give older things viability, but that's going to be my conclusion. However, guys, I do think that both of these weapons are 100% good to be wishlistable. You're going to want to, for sure, wishlist these weapons as soon as they're available. I mean, having this over here, if you have, let me backtrack a little bit. Because it's hard to make a recommendation to so many different kinds of players. All of you guys have different builds. All of you guys have different things, right? And so most of the time, it's hard for me to think outside my own account, right? So if you don't have an Ice Arcanum, typically rule of thumb, guys, if you do not have an Elemental Arcanum for a given element, let's say fire or water or wind, I would say that going in on an Arcanum element banner is never a bad idea, right? So if you don't have a Ice Arcanum set, right? You didn't pull for Cloud's Limit Break draw, then going for Zack right here is never going to be a bad idea. The Arcanums have probably the greatest value. The Elemental Arcanum costumes, I would say, have some of the greatest value in the game for pulling on a banner. So I will say that I never think it's a bad idea to go in on an Elemental Arcanum banner if you don't have the element. If you do have the element, right? So for example, let's say you have Sephiroth's Edged Wings, right? You have Sephiroth's Edged Wings. Now that's a magic Ice Arcanum set. So once you guys get to the point where you have most of the elements, you're going to start going in and trying to get the corresponding attack type, right? So if you have, let's say, a physical Fire Arcanum set, you're going to eventually want a magic one, right? And if you have a magic Ice Arcanum set, you're going to eventually want a physical one. So that being said, for me, and I think most people in the game, even if you just started, a lot of people pulled for Cloud's Limit Break draw. If you pulled for that sword, I don't see the value in pulling for this costume for Zack. Cloud can cover it. It's definitely going to help, but I think this is something that's going to be, you know, more niche. And yeah, so honestly, I think that this banner, for me personally, is an easy skip. If you don't have an Ice Arcanum, it's a good opportunity. Though my opinion from observing this game for a time now, guys, is that there's something good on the horizon. These special pick banners are always really good baits. Now we're getting a Zack and Tifa banner, which is super hard to resist. It's another really good bait. The weapons are really good, but nothing's absolutely necessary, which leads me to believe that something good is coming. So for me, I will be skipping this. However, if you guys are going to go all in on this, I wish you guys the best of luck pulling on this banner. By all means, do not let me hold you guys back. If you love this costume for Zack, or you love this costume for Tifa, or you just love these characters in general, have fun, use the crystals. It's a game, but these banner reviews are meant to tell you guys what I think apart from your own passions towards the game. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I will be 100% wish listing both of these weapons. They're fantastic, right? But I'm going to be skipping on the banner itself. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. It was fun to check out the new feature draw. It's so interesting that they don't give us really any warning whatsoever, and then they just drop into the game. But I am hoping that a Final Fantasy 16 crossover should be coming. I'm guessing sometime in May, maybe towards the end of May. I think that something good is on the horizon. That's my intuition, but who's to say, guys? I can't foresee the future, so I can't say with any clarity what will be. I can just give you guys my thoughts on it. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, if it was helpful to you, don't forget to drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, and peace.